Welcome to the show. I'm Jason Whitlock, and I'll tell you why last night proved Odell Beckham Jr. didn't grow up at all this offseason.
And I'm Colin Cowherd. Did Floyd Mayweather prove he isn't taking Conor McGregor seriously at all? Video proof? Speak for yourself. Starts right now.
Of course he shouldn't take Conor seriously. Saturday's going to be a walk in the park. All right, hello and welcome. We're joined today by Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson and Super Bowl champ Seth Joyner. Let's start in Cleveland, where the Giants last night lost to the Browns and almost lost their best player, with Odell Beckham Jr. limping off the field after taking a shot to the legs in the second quarter. Odell certainly made a big show about the injury, but it turned out to be just a slight ankle sprain. After the game, Odell was typical Odell.
Rolled ankle, I don't know. Feels like, when you hurt your ankle, it's kind of what it feels like, but it'll be all right.
It'll be all right? How do you know it'll be all right? Is that what they told you? No. Is that what they told you?
That's what I know. That's what I know.
Will you be ready for Dallas?
I don't know, man. I'm pretty concerned, but I think I'll be all right.
Was that sarcasm?
It definitely was a little bit of there.
All right, Colin, do you have an issue with Odell's reaction to the hit?
No, I mean, it confirms he's a performer. That was a performance. The look and the helmet throw and the ball throw and the towel on the head and the jog to the sidelines.
He collapsed. He collapsed.
Well, I mean, with Calvin Johnson, with Larry Fitzgerald, there's just different, like some players are more dramatic. He's got a little Dennis Rodman with a better 40 time. I mean, this is part of who he is. He is a performer. He's gotten a huge shoe deal out of this, so it's paying him. He's wildly popular in New York. The kids love him. Older people sometimes.
Oh, look at that. He's in so much pain.
Well, I mean.
He hurting.
Listen, he is 24/7, Instagram to football field to that, to hallway. He's a performer. That's what he is. By the way, you can be a performer and a great player.
I would agree. Listen, I'm surprised you didn't go here. It's a Paul Pierce-esque performance. Remember when Paul took a wheelchair out of a basketball game or whatever? That's what this is. The thing about Paul Pierce, though, is he won a championship. He was a part of a great team. He was a great player in the postseason. Odell Beckham Jr. hasn't proven any of those things. That's why his performance rings very hollow and phony, and it's off-putting to me. Odell Beckham Jr., he's great for your Broadway. I'm not sure about the football field.
Drama queen is what I see.
King, drama king, go ahead.
Okay. Drama
king.
Drama king.
Yes.
But, I mean, listen, he knows that camera's on him. I mean, that's all staged. Eric, when you get an injury, the last thing you want to do is be on camera like that. You just want to get off to the side, get to the locker room, get it handled, get it taken care of. I mean, I don't get this. I'm not going to say that the guy hasn't grown up. I think as a football player, he's going to continue to mature. But this is just overkill right here, complete overkill.
I do agree with that. I think it's a little, over the top.
Legal hit, by the way.
Legal hit,
totally
supposedly.
legal.
But I'm going to tell you something. I have a problem with defensive backs hitting low. Always have. I call them a bunch of cowards. I would say, hit me in the chest. Hit me here. He knows how I feel about that. This is, right here's my nemesis sitting here. Seth Joyner, dirty player, dirty. I mean,
Eric, if you hit him high,
he's my friend now, but oh my God. I mean, can I wear my shoulder pads, Seth? You trying to pull them off me? I mean, look. If
you hit him high, you get fined, Eric.
No, you hit him here. You got to hit him with your head. You make a tackle.
See, but that's what you want us to do. But you can't run without these. That's why you don't like that.
But the problem with that is that, we're all trying to make a living out here. That's what it's all about.
So that hit bothers you?
Bothers me to death.
Well, what about the reaction?
That bothers me too.
You don't like it?
I don't like the reaction. I mean, the hit bothers me more than the reaction. I mean, because, okay, you get up, no problem. But now you got to go in the hall. Oh, my gosh, look, man. And all you do is sit looking. Is anybody looking? Is the camera around? Just making sure everybody can see me, so I can put on a little show. That bothers me. That bothers me also, but the hit really bothers me. As an offensive player do not like to hit low. Just like a linebacker. When you rush, do you like to get chopped? Come on, be honest.
It's not about light, but
there we go. He knows.
It's a good deterrent.
But I know how to protect my knees, and
because
I know
you see us coming.
Well, but you're exactly right. I get your point, because at the end of the day, your legs is how you make your money.
I can see him being mad. But I thought beyond that, it's over. It was way over the top.
I agree with that. I agree.
It's way over the top. Chris Carter, our colleague here, tweeted out something about this is why Odell needs a new contract, or this is why he wants a new contract. And mine is just the opposite. Is like, this is why you don't give guys contracts before you have to, because at any time they could get chopped down and be hurt and be injured, and you're on the hook for that money.
I don't have a problem paying Odell money, but this is one of the things I've said. One of the reasons I loved Russell Wilson, because he was 22 going on 40, and one of the reasons I was always anti-Manziel coming out of college. He was 23 going on 12. I believe your franchise players, either side of the ball, it's about as much neck up and maturity as it is neck down physical. I'll pay my receivers a lot of money, but I'm not going to. I want Eli's, Russell Wilson, Andrew Luck's personality as my franchise. I'm okay paying a superstar on the outside. I want MJ's my franchise. Rodman, I'll pay money. That's my knock on Odell. He wants to be a franchise guy, but there's more than just the ability to play to be a franchise guy.
You have to act like. You
Absolutely.
have to act like.
I get that, but there's a maturity process, okay? You're talking about 20, 21, 22-year-old kids that come into the league.
23 now.
It doesn't matter though. He's still got to mature.
Let me know
that's a process.
What's the magic number?
A lot of guys don't mature till they get out of the 30s. Game. Eric, you know that.
Some of them don't too. You know, 35. Some of them still not mature.
All right. Well, Odell's injury wasn't the only thing that caused a stir last night. Before the game, 12 Browns players kneeled in prayer during the national anthem, which makes it the largest anthem protest so far, and also the first to include a white player, tight end Seth DeValve. Browns coach Hugh Jackson addressed the protest after the game.
We respect our players. We respect the flag. Those guys came to me and talked to me about it before they ever made a decision to do it. So, again, you know, that's the way I feel about it. And we've talked about this, and I said at some point in time they may, and they have.
I myself will be raising children that don't look like me, and I want to do my part as well to do everything I can to raise them in a better environment than we have right now. So I wanted to take the opportunity with my teammates during the anthem to pray for our country, and also to draw attention to the fact that we have work to do.
All right, Whitlock, what's your reaction to the protest?
Well, he's like everyone else, speaking in cliches and broad strokes. I want a better America. I want everybody to feel good. Again, I don't understand how these guys don't get. If you do this during the national anthem, you're not promoting a discussion of equality. You're promoting a discussion about whether it's appropriate to do this during the national anthem. Josh Rosen, the quarterback at UCLA, last week did an interview with Bleacher Report, or 2 weeks ago with Bleacher Report, and spelled out his problems with college football and the educational system.
Very specific.
And everybody talked about that. Is he right? Is college football too hard for the educational process? Again, if you're an NFL player, particularly a quarterback, you have a platform where you can go talk to any media outlet and spell out your issues and make us talk about that. If you do this during the national anthem, you're sparking a conversation about the national anthem.
So to you, it's a trend.
It's bell bottoms, man. It's bell bottoms, it's tight, it's skinny jeans, it's the fad. Everybody's doing it. Everybody's surfing now. It's the Beach Boys, man. That's all this is.
You know,
elephant ear shirts.
I mean, I feel like athletes have been protesting forever. I just feel like Ali was protesting, and Kurt Flood protested, and Tommy Smith protested, and Jackie Robinson protested, and Billie Jean King was like, hey, look at women. I kind of feel like this is just the latest. And it is, I think.
All of those were really specific. I could go, Ali was against the draft and going to Vietnam.
Jackie Robinson.
Jackie Robinson was about integrating and giving economic opportunity. This is I'm fighting oppression. That's the extent of the explanation we're getting from people. And instead, they could be using their resources to promote change in America. They could be driving a conversation about specific issues. If it's police brutality,
but if you're in a season, couldn't I make the argument, like, we're in a season. I can't go all in my nonprofits. This is my granular protest.
The thing about this is that you can't win this argument. It's like religion politics, or how to raise your kids. You'll never, because all of us gonna have different views. I mean, how do I feel about it? I'm like, we live in America. You know, you have free speech. But I feel like a sporting event is a sporting event. I mean, you go there to play sports. I don't go there to see a protest. But if you want to do it and they allow it, have at it. That's my take. I mean, just like you use Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson and Muhammad Ali was he wasn't for Vietnam. You know, he didn't want to go to Vietnam. He felt like, I love my country, but I don't want to go fight someone I don't know. I mean, that's how he felt about that. Jackie Robinson is about how you treat us as black people. This has been, first of all, this has been a problem for thousands of years. Yeah, I mean, it goes back before you had cell phones. I mean, black people have been getting killed, and it is what it is. I mean, that's real life. It's life. I mean,
do you feel this has any impact?
It's a good question, because this is how I feel. It's not going to change. I hate to say it. I wish it would, but it's not going to. It's just going to make people talk about it more and say things about it. But when you take two little kids, like my son is 5, and he saw another little 5-year-old. They just go play. They just having a good time. He's not like, oh, you got black skin. Oh, wow, he's a white guy. They don't worry about that. They're just having fun. That's what it's all about. Sports is about fun. It's not about, I'm protesting about the black. I'm protesting because she's white. I'm protesting because, I don't like the car he drives. I mean, everybody has a different view. I mean, that's why I say you can't win. This is a conversation. You can't win it, basically.
At the end of the day, I agree with you wholeheartedly, Eric. Racism is a learned behavior.
Exactly.
One generation teaches it to the next, which teaches it to the next, which teaches it to the next. So at what point do you break the cycle? That's what we're talking about here when you talk about racism. But if you're talking about these guys' right to protest, if you will, that's their right. And the thing that's amazing. The thing that's amazing to me is you seen a GM, John Lynch, make a statement, walk it back. Now you seen a head coach make a statement, walk it back. Okay? I'm telling you right now, this ain't going nowhere. As much as you want to see something change, something evolve with, it ain't changing. This issue and what these guys are doing.
What's not going to change?
Well, I realize that the situation as far as racism isn't going to change until it becomes painful enough, like some of the guys are saying now, that the people who don't experience racism, they become so enraged about it that they begin to do something about it. The issue is that you can't change stupid. You can't change ignorance. If someone is raising their kids to think in that way, you can't go into their household and make them raise their kids a different way.
You can't change your culture.
We got to wrap. We're going to have more on this conversation. I just want to say this, though. Your definition and my definition of racism might be different than someone else's definition.
I agree.
Your definition of what's unfair might be completely different to some white dude in the Midwest and what he thinks is unfair. People are, accept my definition, accept my problems, without thinking about the other person and the other side. No question about it. All right, welcome back to the show. Eric Dickerson and Seth Joyner are back. Let's return to the subject of NFL protests and Colin Kaepernick, who will be the subject of a rally tomorrow in front of NFL headquarters in New York. The Washington Post this week wrote a long piece exploring player opinions on the issue, but actually weren't able to get many players to talk about it on the record, writing, quote, while several players have made anthem demonstrations or voiced opinions, far more have stayed out of the fray, either out of personal preference in accordance with the NFL's behavioral codes or because they worry their jobs could be affected. I think there's a different reason players are staying quiet about this. Listen, we've seen Michael Vick on this show say everything, and he was on your show first. I was subbing for you on your show. He said a bunch of positive things about Michael Vick. He came on this show, said a bunch of positive things about Michael Vick. And then,
Colin Kaepernick, you mean?
About Colin Kaepernick. Michael Vick said positive things about Colin Kaepernick. And then made an honest statement like, man, I think the guy should cut his hair. And the next thing you know, a storm rained down on Michael Vick, and Twitter tried to throw him out of the black race. And there hasn't been, we keep talking about, oh, people are afraid to support Colin Kaepernick. It's a false fake news narrative.
Well, it's easy to support Kaepernick.
Yes.
The Twitter mob will support you.
Yes.
And, I mean, listen, 44% of people that could have voted for president didn't. So there's a lot of apolitical people. So I want to say, a lot of people that don't talk about it, they just don't care about politics. I don't think all players, I'm not going to condemn a player for not talking about Kaepernick. A lot of people in this country, my mom included, they're apolitical. But I do feel, and I've told you this about Twitter, I just mostly stay off it. I think you call it a rigged system.
Yes.
Twitter tends to lean left. If you watch Twitter during the election, Donald Trump wasn't going to get 4 votes.
Thank you.
Forget 4 states. When you go to Twitter, it is liberal, lean left, don't get in trouble. So there's no question that if you are pro-owner, anti-Kaepernick, even in the Dolphin situation where Kaepernick wore a Fidel Castro shirt.
People couldn't talk about it.
You can't talk about that. The R word comes up. Oh, you're racist.
Yeah.
So the Twitter mob does scare people. I think it does legitimately scare people.
You know what, and listen, at the end of the day, no matter what it is that you oppose or you stand up against, you're going to face resistance, whether that's standing with Kaepernick or not standing with Kaepernick. At the end of the day, that's what it looks like. And this standing with him, I believe, is more powerful than speaking against him. That's just my opinion. You know, and at the end of the day, I think you're seeing other players see it in that vein.
Do you think it's powerful?
Absolutely, it's powerful. Listen, it's not going away. And Jason, I agree with you. You know, there are bigger fish to fry, but at the end of the day, this is the catch of the day. This is the catch of the day that's on. It doesn't matter whether it's right now. It's the talk of it's the catch of the day because we're talking about it, okay? And listen,
we're talking about Kaepernick. We're not talking about the issue.
You have to. You listen.
He's not the issue.
He stated what he was protesting for.
Once.
Doesn't matter though. Doesn't matter though.
This has been hijacked. It is now about Kaepernick, not police brutality.
The big thing is that are players afraid? A lot of players are afraid because every player that plays on a football team is not a star. A lot of these guys are, you know, making the minimum $500,000. It's the guys at the top, they're making the 15, 12 million. They're not afraid. They're really not. But the guys in the middle, the guy that I just made the team, I have a baby on the way. I'm not going to kneel. Man, I got to feed my kid. I mean, well, they cut me.
But not only is he not going to kneel, he's not going to say...
He's going to stay out of it.
Yes. If he believes like, hey, man, you know, I'm taking care of my mama. I got my cousins. I got my auntie. I got everybody. My cousin's doing 15 years, and he's got 2 babies, and I'm doing this and that. He's not going to step out here and say, you know what? What Kaepernick is doing is bad business for me as a football player. He's not going to do that because, again, we're all celebrities and the media are addicted to Twitter. And a Twitter backlash is now the worst. It's worse than cancer, damn near, in some people's mind. And, oh, my God, Twitter will rain down and call me a bunch of names, so I better not say what I really think about Kaepernick.
We know this. Here's one thing that's true. You cannot get 12 people to agree on the weather.
Yes.
Okay, so we all know that, right? People don't agree on anything. There's literally no player that's anti-Kaepernick. Not one in the whole league.
Thank you.
Because of what it means to stand against someone that's standing up for injustice.
He's not he's standing up for Kaepernick, man.
He brought it back up, not me.
No, I said he's standing up for Kaepernick. It's a ploy, man. All the conversations about Kaepernick, no one's talking about police brutality. It's a ploy.
They're talking around it. They're talking around it.
But even if you're pro-Kaepernick, somebody in the NFL has a cop in their family, and he wore a cops are pigs and they suck. Cops are slaves. I mean, there's got to be one person in the league that's like, dude, my dad's a cop.
I guarantee you, it's more than one, but they might not say it. They might say,
you
know, they'll say, boy, I didn't like him no way. I'm glad he ain't playing.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly.
Listen, we all know this, guys. Baseball contracts, NBA contracts, guaranteed. When you don't have guaranteed income, you lose a lot of courage.
Hold on. Are there in Major League Baseball players that are running out right now and supporting Kaepernick? Are there a bunch of NBA players running out and supporting Kaepernick? Again, we've turned this into a football issue, and somehow football, which has 70% African-American players, roughly 1,200 black players making large sums of money and taking care of their families, football is now
They're
the
not
racist
going,
sport.
they're not going to sacrifice that cash
Right.
for this guy. They're not. I wouldn't.
nor
I mean,
should
to be
they.
honest, I'm saying I'm not.
You say what you want to say, but you want to know something? This catcher today is on the chopping block.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Until it gets deboned, until it gets filleted, and until it gets seasoned and frozen,
Everything
it's going
does.
to continue to stink.
And as
But
long
everything
it ain't going to stop.
as
Everything
long as we
does.
keep going for the catch of the day, we will make no progress.
Welcome back. Joined now by legendary Texas Longhorns quarterback Vince Young, as well as the smartest man in college football, Joel Klatt. Let's move to USC, where quarterback Sam Darnold getting a lot of hype heading into this season. Major profiles in Sports Illustrated, ESPN, one NFL team, the Jets, already rumored to be tanking for him. Now Stanford head coach David Shaw is comparing Darnold to another Pac-10 quarterback, some guy named Andrew Luck. Whitlock, you worried Darnold's getting too much hype this summer?
Yeah, listen, I think he had a great 10-game run as a starter at USC, but they're acting like not just the next Andrew Luck, they're acting like he's the next Peyton Manning. I think that's a little bit over the top. I want some more evidence.
One reason I'm not overly concerned, he's a grounded kid from a grounded family.
Right.
That generally solves those problems.
I don't want to run with David Shaw's comments too far, because he was actually very specific about an attribute that he was comparing to Andrew Luck, and that was Sam Darnold's ability to anticipate throws down the field. And he talked about it in a very specific manner, and he touched on that because I believe it's the rarest skill that we see or don't see in college football from the quarterback position, is the ability to be that anticipatory thrower down the field. Darnold had it, Luck had it, because if you talk to David Shaw about some of the players in particular that he had to compete against, that he has the most admiration for, he would tell you Marcus Mariota was probably the best player that he competed against as a coach. And I know Darnold didn't start in that game against Stanford last year, but I don't want to run with his comments too far because it was a very specific comparison.
Yeah, and for me, I just really feel like, being in that position before, the biggest thing what he need to do is worry about preparing himself to play football this year. That's it. The hype and all that type of thing is going to always come with it. You're playing at USC. You had some really talented quarterbacks come before you as well. So take all that hype and use that as fuel to come out and show the world that you're ready to play some football.
You had a great Rose Bowl beating Michigan the year before.
Yeah.
And it was one of the great Rose Bowls. Texas was never in Rose Bowls.
Yes.
So in the offseason, you were huge. Did it go to your head? Did you think about it a lot?
No, I mean, we had an outstanding football coach of the name of Coach Mac Brown. So one of the things that he really did that I really enjoyed was he controlled the media. He said, Vince, don't you worry about that. I need you to just take care of your football team. Go out there and lead your guys to battle. And that's what I did. Got the guys ready in the offseason, made sure we was running, talented, doing everything we needed to do so we can return back to the Rose Bowl to play USC.
By the way, in this town, Josh Rosen at UCLA may take some of the glare off.
Yeah.
He could take some. The thing I like about Josh Rosen, and I haven't seen it as much in Sam Darnold because I haven't watched as much, but Josh Rosen's tough in the pocket. You talk about throwing the ball with anticipation. To me, sitting in the pocket, taking a hit and delivering the football, that's the greatest skill.
Well, and it's more about, I think, rather than just physical toughness, it can also be mental toughness. Vince, you know this. I know this. Anybody who's sat in the pocket and played major college football knows that it takes a lot to bounce back from a mistake. Let me go back to last year at Washington. Sam Darnold takes his USC team in. They were ranked 20th. They were 6-3 at number 4 undefeated Washington. The first series of the game, he throws an interception. You can go in the tank real quick. Trust me. I mean, Vince never did. I always did. I went in the tank. He comes back the rest of the half. He was 9 of 13, 154 yards, a touchdown. They took a 17-6 lead in at halftime. That shows me that fortitude, not just physically, but mentally as well.
That was also one of Andrew Luck's great strengths. I watched him play USC through a terrible pick, end of the game against Matt Barkley. End of the game, should have lost it. Laughed, went to the sideline, hit his helmet, came back, led him to an overtime.
Luck's a great college player. I can't wait to see it in the pros.
Welcome back. We're joined now by UFC welterweight champ Tyron Woodley. I retired him during the break. What was that all about? Former WBC welterweight champ Victor Ortiz. Let's move to the big event of the summer, the biggest. Mayweather-McGregor this Saturday. Fight's only a few days away, but Floyd was just spotted in a shopping mall. Didn't seem to be taking his preparation for Conor all that seriously.
Burger King, baby, what's up? Burger King. Keep that weight on. I'm so scared of Conor McGregor. I'm so scared of Conor McGregor. I just want to say thank you, Dana White, for bringing that to the table.
All right, Whitlock. Does Floyd need to take Conor more seriously?
No, he doesn't. Listen, they're in a boxing ring. Conor's got no experience there, so no, he doesn't. I just think this is a different technique of selling the fight. He tried for a couple of weeks to sell it, say, oh, I'm not as fast as I used to be, I'm too old, and tried to sell the fact that Conor has a chance. That didn't work in terms of moving tickets. And so now he's going the other way. I ain't even taking this seriously. Show up, anything might happen.
I think you're right. Here's what I wonder about, is that McGregor is naturally walk-around heavier. He's your weight. Floyd,
not quite.
No.
But he's closer.
But his walk-around weight's 165 or a little bit more.
165, 170 probably.
Okay, Floyd's is probably mid-150s. So I just wonder, and I'll ask you, is he concerned that, listen, after the weigh-in, Conor's going to put on another 8 pounds, and he could be fighting a 175-pound guy. And so Floyd's like, I need to be ready to move my weight up after the weigh-in.
I don't think that's really a big.
You don't think so?
Big factor there, no.
Well, why is he eating like that?
It's not a big factor because the simple fact that putting on the weight is not going to make him faster or stronger. It might make him more sluggish. Conor McGregor, he can weigh 175, 185. If he can't hit Floyd Mayweather, it doesn't matter. In wrestling and grappling and clinch work and MMA, it makes a difference. You got a heavier opponent trying to keep you down, it's harder to get that person off. But when you're throwing punches, if you're not landing it, you can weigh 200 pounds. So I think if you can't eat a Whopper and win, you weren't going to win anyway.
What do you make of, I had Floyd Mayweather Sr. on, and I asked him about Floyd Jr.'s preparation. He said he's training good enough. When you were a heavy favorite, a dominating favorite, did you prepare as hard?
I prepared very hard, but I'm pretty sure, as though Mayweather was saying he wasn't ready, wasn't prepared, anything can happen with he and I. The guy was in it hardcore as well. You know, there was times where I'd be hearing through the grapevine, dude, you know, this guy's waking up at 3, 4 in the morning. I'm like, dude, we're doing the same thing. We're hungry, and I know he's hungry as well. And yeah, he's putting up this front that, oh yeah, I'm not training no more. Oh yeah, I'm older. I'm this and that. You know, I got a brand new crutch. I don't know what it was, but anyways, fact of the matter is, I think Floyd is playing Floyd, and I strongly believe he's ready.
Yeah, I don't think eating 2 bites out of a Whopper is going to change anything for Floyd Mayweather. I think he'll be in impeccable shape. I think he's planning on embarrassing this guy in the ring. And again, I think it'll happen. And there'll be no disrespect to Conor McGregor in the UFC and MMA. They're in a boxing ring with arguably the most skilled boxer we've ever seen. He's hard to touch. He's hard to hit. It's going to be impossible, I think, for a first-time boxing guy to step into the ring. In terms of weight, it would be like, would Floyd Mayweather need to put on weight to fight me? Or could he fight me at 120 pounds if necessary? Because I wouldn't
get at least 1 or 2 good ones off there.
Do you believe, but with your fighting, I've always heard these guys, last 2 to 3 weeks, you watch everything you eat. You don't make anything a Burger King. That's just life.
You know, when you're at his level, it's a different story, though, because I think that when you're Floyd Mayweather, you're not cutting weight for this one. They're fighting at 154, correct?
Yeah.
So when they're fighting at that weight, he's not having to cut anything. If you eat so healthy and you decide to eat a Whopper or some fried food or whatever, your body's going to really reject that because it's so used to the clean, the diet, the greens, the lean proteins. When you eat something that's crazy, your body is like, what is this in my body? So it really doesn't have the same impact that you think it'll have.